So I'm trying to stream my screen right now. Should work, I hope. It's surprising how tricky it can be to stream something in YouTube. It's I've made a test the first time. I've tried it for the first session and thing, and it's kind of still unclear. So let me investigate, because right now I don't think that it's properly streaming, so I need to access my stream key and do this again. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I think I have what's needed. And then I just need to put this here. And start streaming, and we should see this in a few seconds. Unless we don't, and then I need to adjust some extra stuff. Okay, still not good. Okay. So now OBS says that it's streaming. So I still have this configuration problem with YouTube, which is getting embarrassing. So my streaming here seems to be streaming just fine. So I have, so usually you are streaming content by setting up some software. One of the common one, to share your screen is called OBS. And one of the problem is that it needs a stream key to actually stream anything. And when you manage to stream something, it takes quite some time before you actually see it in YouTube, because we have a few seconds delay. So now we can start. So just to give a bit of context, so we are working on this project. So the idea is to say that Google is providing you with your location history. You can get your location history through Google Takeout if you want to check it, or you can check the last session that I did last week on Sunday, where we just look a bit at what's the data that's coming out of this. And the idea is to say, if we have the location data of X person in the context of some pandemic that is like spread from human to human, it could be interesting to know where these people have crossed paths or where they have been, or analyze different location, like different users' position to see where those paths, what those paths have in common, maybe to predict or to trace back where the contamination may have took place. So the first thing we did last week was to say that we don't want to work with a single person data, and honestly I don't want to live stream my personal location thing. So I think one of the first interesting thing is to try to fake some location data. So that's the context of the code that we wrote last week. We currently have two components, one called location generator, which actually has some reddish thing here, so there might be a, yeah, there's a bug. So there was a character missing. So we have a location generator context, which is basically giving the context of the location generation. Initially, we are gonna generate position in kind of grid with an x-axis varying from 0 to 100 and a y-axis varying from 0 to 102. It will make the first things simpler, and we will after that convert into latitude and longitude. So this location context also enables the retribution of random points. So it's just like getting a point identified by x and y, and it sets it in the with a name, and those values are taken randomly between minimum of x and the maximum of x, and minimum of y and maximum of y. Then we have another protected method called generate points of interest, which is actually called in our constructor. And this method is generating points that later are going to be used to determine the different locations. We are going to get a bit more into that when we'll be inside the location generator. And then we are also having this helper function, which is basically giving back a random value between a minimum and a maximum. So here, the other element is the location generator. So this class should generate a location history for a single person. And we have listed a set of requirements that we are willing to have. So a person has a dwelling, like a home, which is their base point. They have 3 to 4 main points of interest. I think the proper way of spelling it is maybe like this. Did we call them, how did we call the other ranges? Secondary points of interest. So we are going to call them the same way. And about 10 secondary points of interest. So here, what we are doing is to try to modelize that often people go to the same place. Like every day in normal time, you are going to work, and maybe you are going to the same restaurant, and maybe you are going to your gym, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you are going like some visit to visit your parents or whatever. And so we are trying to capture this idea that we go often to the same places, and there will be like 3 to 4 points where we have a much more higher likelihood to go than 10 secondary points where we still go a lot, and then like a random distribution in the others. So here we see that we first allocate a home to be a random point, and here we select some, we shuffle the existing point of interest. We take 3 to 4. We decide if we take 3 or 4 points of interest. We then take the first elements of the array that we just shuffled, just in order to have some new, to generate the key point of interest. We do the same thing for the secondary points of interest that I can actually rename to secondary point of interest, because it doesn't make sense to have secondary key points. And here it's not main, it's key in our documentation. So then we have a public function called getDayData, which I don't remember what it is doing actually. We are going to read through and try to understand it. So I have a current point of interest, which is my home, a timestamp. Okay, yeah, so basically, so this is modelizing where I'm going. So the thing is that instead of trying to understand what it does, we are going to try to return the day data here to see if we can make sense out of it. So again, I'm not preparing these live streams. I'm just thinking a bit about what I'm going to do, but it's not meant to be a tutorial. It's more meant for you to be able to like observe how I program, if it can be anything of interest, and to make it a bit more interesting for me. Like I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone by streaming this. So like, I'm sorry if this looks a bit messy from time to time. Here we have some functions. So this one gets location data. So actually, I think it's mostly here to format something to return like a properly formatted object. Then we have a method that returns the point of interest to visit over one day, which I'm pretty sure is used in the get day data function. Actually, I am sure, but I don't know where it is. Yeah, it's there. And so here, that's what we said above. We have we visit 1 to 4 places every day. The probability to visit one place, if it's a key point, like to visit one key point of interest is 3 over 5. One secondary point of interest is 1 over 5, and one other point of interest is 1 over 5 too. So we just implement this, and so we return the number of points of interest that we are supposed to visit for the current day. And the get day data here is basically aggregating the travels from all the points of interest that we may have chosen during one day. And this is just to give us some intermediate location. Okay, so I'm just checking the to-do list of what I was willing to present. So we gave a bit of the project context. We also have done through what we have done so far. And what we are going to do now is to make the commit for the first thing. So I'm just going to insert a link in the README file to the first video. Give me a second, I'm just fetching it from YouTube. Cup of tea this time. Okay, so that's the video. I just how do we open this? If you're on YouTube, it's there. Okay. So first live stream. So let's say first session at, we don't care about when, 22nd of March. We did, what did we do? We did the project overview, project setup, and first simulation code. Then I'm going to insert a link to this current live stream, if I find where it is, and I don't. Shit. Where is this again? Okay, here. Okay, second session is today. We are the 29th of March 2020, and this is currently live, so we won't get a lot of content then. Again, nothing fancy, just writing code. Okay, so we are already here in our terminal, and I'm just briefly gonna, so this is my own git s is my own git alias, which is get status -s. So I'm gonna just add this src folder, checking again that I'm not adding unwanted files, and I don't think to be, so now I'm just git commit -a -m first commit, yay, and more seriously, this commit will add a location generator, and it's missing a few unit tests. So here we are. I'm just gonna push this, and so basically, if I'm correct, now everything should be updated, and there should be a bit of code here. Okay, that's perfect. That's not the greatest thing you've seen in your life, but that's working. Okay. So, as we said before, I'm saying it again, the target here is to get ready and operational with the first code we initially wrote. So we are going to write unit tests. So here first I'm going to use the Python environment I defined in the first session using virtual env. And I'm going to install a package called PyTest. That's one of the things I did prepare a bit, because I'm always, I need always time to figure out which package exactly I need to install and things like that. So the one I need here is called PyTest. What I like with it is that it's a small, how to say that? It's low commitment unit testing framework in Python. So you don't need to learn a lot. Basically, it's based on, it leverages the assert function already existing in Python, and then it brings you with whatever you need. So here I should have PyTest available now. Yes, I do. That's lovely. And it should be the one that I just installed, which it's not, because it's something here. Okay, that's not a big problem. Worst case, we are gonna try. If that causes a problem, we are gonna use the one we just installed. Otherwise, we don't care. So since we have installed our first dependency, we are gonna just call pip freeze, which just gonna like freeze give us every installed package along with their version, and we are just gonna put everything in a requirements.txt, which is the standard for like installing things in Python. So I won't commit now. Okay, so now we should be able to write our first unit test. I have different practices depending on the language, but I usually prefer to have my unit test living within the code base I'm trying to test. So I'm not putting a folder on the side called test XYZ. I'm putting it directly in the tested folder. So here, can I make a few random tests? Yeah, maybe. Maybe I can test that when I initialize a generator context, I get like enough random points of interest, and that the few x and y's are between actually 0 and 100. So, and that will be a first nice test to write, especially for to watch for people which are maybe not as familiar as they would like with unit testing. So I'm just creating a file which is like prefixed with test underscore. And here I'm writing just a test. So I like to name this file with the name of the class or the package that I'm testing, which here is location generator context. And then I want to state what I'm testing. Here I'm just gonna test initialization, just that I'm generating proper objects. And I'm gonna import locax. Okay, so this doesn't work. Does it? No, it doesn't. X. Okay, so this doesn't work. Does it? No, it doesn't. So how can I have this working? Source root, maybe like or as location generator. One of the thing I like to do here is, I'm pretty sure that you don't. I'm pretty sure that you don't see my editor anymore. So I'm going to stop streaming and start streaming again. If you have like, I see that we have a few viewers. If you can comment if you actually see me and not the code, and I'm not trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist, that would be nice. Okay, that doesn't seem to work. Why? I don't know. So, that's a problem. Okay. I'm just gonna try to restart OBS because I don't get why you're not seeing my screen. Settings, I'm just gonna check that I have the right key, but I'm pretty sure I do. Starting the streaming again. I'm taking a sip of tea. This way I'm able to see in the video when I click streaming and to check if it did work or not. I really enjoy spending too much time trying to fix problems that shouldn't exist. Okay, that doesn't work. I hate it. I want to do something about it. Okay, so that's the right streaming system. The output should be sent properly. I'm gonna try to refresh everything and see what works, what doesn't. Okay, so for some reason it seems to be back. That's cool. So here we are writing a test that is basically testing basic thing, but the first thing we want is to be sure that our testing framework is working. So we are just gonna write a simple like assert statement, redundant parentheses, I don't know why, and 2 blank lines expected. Okay, that's fine. And I don't know why. We are gonna try just to launch by test. Okay, so the first thing is that like one test has been executed and it passed. And as one of my very good friends once said, like you are not sure that you are unit testing anything unless you have seen something crashing. We are trying to make it crash, and yes, it works. So here we said that we want to test our location generator. So we are just gonna create a new object instance. So here location generator, and after we are going to what we want to test here is that, for example, we have like the amount point of interest that we are expecting. So this means that I want to get, how should I say that? Yeah, that's so basically location generator dot point of oh yeah, because you know why? Because I should say from this import that. Otherwise, location generator describes the package and not the class inside the package. And so here now we should have auto completion and have Oh, I want to test the context. Sorry, I'm not necessarily as brilliant as I would love to be here. Okay, point of interest, okay, dot, and we want the length of this. So we said that we want to make sure that the length here is of about 100 elements, which is exactly what we said there, but that's some basic expectation. Then we take, I was thinking last time that maybe it's interesting to move here the logic of the getting points of interest, because this way we split a bit more the code from our location generator. And here it's basically this code that I want to extract. So I need random, and I already have random. So I'm going to basically copy this, and here I'm going to say, okay, I want to shuffle my inner self. Then I want to return this, and if that's the thing is that if at some point we want to keep some context about those points we have generated, we'll be able to do it here. And instead of size, we are going to prefer a more explicit name called number to generate, and we are going to call this method because it's not really accessing something, it's more generating something. So generate point of interest lists, and to be more fair, we are going to precise that it's random. Do refactor, and so here it means that we can simplify this code because here we don't do this shuffle anymore, and we just call context dot generate random points. We don't have a to completion because the import is broken. Actually, since it's plural, we don't need to precise that it's a list. And the number we want is the number of key points of interest here. So that's a lot of, I'm going to keep this here, and I'm going to keep this here. So we are going to use the exact same function here. We are creating a new bug here, but we are going to keep it. And this bug is that we can have the same point of interest once in secondary point of interest and one in the key points of interest. But so far, so good. We are just going to be okay with it. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Oops, it's number of secondary point of interest. Okay, so why do we have a problem here? Yeah, because the context variable here is not typed. I don't really know how to type to have auto completion on it, but so far we are going to survive. It's not a big deal. So now we are going to get the first one POY, because that's going to be it's a test, so I'm going to be less rigorous about naming variables, if that makes sense. And this is not a location generator, by the way. It's a location generator context. Dot point of interest, and I'm going to take the first one. Okay. Ooh. So and I said that I want to assert that this point of interest on X value is below 100, and that it's above, is it not, it's not strict necessarily, I would say. And then same thing for Whoa. Same thing for y. So it seems like those tests are very basic, but sometimes it helps you like see, for example, that maybe you forgot something, you did something wrong, and for example, you didn't properly name your attribute here, or it's not the exact good type of object which is stored. And having those tests helps you like to figure out quickly where is the problem. So now we are going to try to run our test, and I guess that this one should work just fine. And they don't, because cannot concatenate string and integer objects at the line 31 in our location context generator. So that's because Python is a bit more strict with types than the language I'm usually using, and now it's good. So we have one test that has been passed. We don't see the number of assertions, which is bad. Can I have some more verbose thing? Doesn't change anything. Yeah, I have a name. Okay, test init is passed. Okay, now to be sure that it's this, we are going to allow the program to generate only from with x values from 101 to 200. So we know that we are going to have a problem here because we want to see our test fails, and it does. So we're good. So we go back to the configuration, and we know that our test is good. What else can we test here? We can maybe test this generate random point of interest, but since we are, I don't really see exactly what we could test here. It's pretty straightforward. So maybe not. Okay. We are done with our first class. Now let's switch to the bigger bone here, which is our location generator, which I'm going to switch here, and I'm going to create a new test file. So I hope that this is a bit more dynamic than last time, because last time I was super tired, and to be honest, it's taking quite a bit of energy to try to explain all your thoughts and things, but I hope it's interesting for the few people that are watching and will be watching this. Give feedback if you can. So from locates dot location generator import location generator. So yeah, I don't know if I expanded on that, but I'm going to explain why I'm doing all this and not trying to make a relative import. Is that I like to treat every single of my packages as if they were how to say that. I think they were external packages. This way, there is no differentiation. There is no like. I am always using them as if they were standing outside. It's my convention, and it also enables me sometimes when I need to move like packages aside and to still have them requesting the right things. So it's more, maybe it's more dogmatic than anything, but I prefer it like that. So here, what can we test? So first, we want to test that we have some points of interest and we have some secondary points of interest, maybe, and that we have a home. So let's test the object after its first creation. Okay. So our location generator equals location generator. This is a context, so we also need to import the location generator context. Oh shit, I forgot the cake. Give me a second. Don't leave things in the oven. Don't leave things in the oven. Wait a quick second. I think I really sad for this cake. Okay, so in order to initialize our location generator, we need a location generator context. And we are just going to create it on the fly. Maybe we can make an intermediate variable with that. And yes. So here we want to test that can we access the home object. I'm gonna check print this. Can we? Yes, it seems no, we don't know because right now we have a. So random takes no 2 arguments. Okay, so we are gonna try to investigate a bit more about how the random package is supposed to work. This is bpython on top of my local Python, which is a bit inconvenient. This is not working. Maybe it's rand integer. I had the completion this. No, okay, random dot rand int like this. Oh, I did not import random. Damn, this cake thing is okay. So it's rand int and it's not random. Okay. That is good. Okay, cool. So first thing, the initialization here worked, and okay, so that's one of the problem with. Actually, I can just do this. The cool thing is, yeah. No, I can't do this because I will not be able to call the function if I try to call manually this this location generator thing. How to view standard output PyTest. It's there. Oh, dash dash show. No, it's not this dash dash. Maybe I have it in my history, but show capture. Okay, show capture on std out. Yeah. And I don't have anything. I don't need anything. Okay, so I'm gonna try again. Print a yeah. So it's not because it's at the beginning of the file. Maybe it's on stdr. Oh, I don't see anything. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So here, I could read the whole page, that's for sure. But I'm pretty sure I could see something faster if I am to view something. So yeah, that's dash s. Okay, well, let's see what it does. Okay, so here I have something. Does the show capture helps at all? No, it's not. So okay, so here I can indeed access the object and I can indeed print from the object now, from the test. So usually underscore here is used to indicate like private or protected items in Python. But yeah, private or protected items, but for unit tests, we obviously want to access them. So here I can, we are not gonna spend like a life, but I'm gonna assert that X is in this, so as a key, I guess it should work. We can try right now, that's the point. Yes, it does work, okay. I'm gonna set that the length of the key points of interest is below 5, and that the length of the secondary point of interest is below 15. I'm not here like trying to test strictly your implementation. It's more like at some point, if there is a deviation for one or the reason, it's nice to have a check. And here we also know that by definition, now we are sure that it's kind of a countable object. So that's already a good level of what we want. Okay, so now we said that, what is these variables for? Oh yeah, it's to generate data from X days ago. So that's the key function that we want to test. So we are gonna write a test get day data, and again we need a location generator. One of the things that could be convenient here is to move this here. It shouldn't create new problems. So we just move it here, and so we are just able to call things. So here I'm just gonna call print just get day data, and I'm gonna say I want the data from 1 day ago, so like yesterday, and see what it does. Okay, so datetime, that time has no attribute time, if you say so. So this was meant to be the current timestamp in Python, and we are just gonna look for how to get the current timestamp in Python. Get current timestamp in Python. Time.time, import time. Okay. No, is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, so here I am importing time. But, okay, so I have a stupid conflict here between time, this package, and this other thing. So I don't actually know why I don't have any warning about that, but that is stupid. So I'm gonna just not import anything, and I'm gonna check where datetime is used, and I'm gonna replace it with datetime dot date time. This way I'm just gonna import the macro package, and here I'm gonna also investigate because I think I remember that those two, yeah, okay. And now it's gonna be datetime dot time dot min, and this should be, I think, okay. Okay, and now I'm just gonna import datetime. Okay, that's great. That is great. So some stuff are very inconvenient here. And here, for example, I see also that the name of my different things are not very clean. I would like something more readable. So here, when I generate the name, I'm just gonna add some dash here to make it more readable. Okay. So this gives me the itinerary of a person during the day. My problem here is that how am I sure that this thing is kind of respecting what I said? So I can make some basic assumption. If a person goes from point A to point B, like I should get a list of intermediate points, but the difference in time for two consecutive points in terms of position between two consecutive points should be quite limited, right? So we are gonna first try to give like make some quantity test about this. So we have day data here, and we are gonna name this test test get day data, short distance between points. Okay. So here I'm maybe gonna need no, maybe not. Okay, I'm gonna think about how to do this. So I will need to iterate on every point. So day data for datum. Datum is kind of supposed to be singular of data. That's sometimes convenient. For day datum in day data, I'm gonna create a distance array here, distances array, and I'm gonna say last day datum that I'm gonna initialize to being basically nothing. So if this last day datum is known, it means that it's the first iteration I'm doing. So it's not initialized, so I'm initializing at the current day datum. If it's there, well, if it's in that case, I just continue. If it's there, I am just computing distance, which is equal to like can I have power? Yeah. So it's the power of the difference over the x-axis to the power of 2. We are using like Euclidean distance for people which might be wondering if we could be using something else. The answer is yes, we could, but we are not. And we are taking the square root of this. So here delta x is not defined, so I'm taking here to just the general, it's not what I want to do. I want to define delta x. So delta x is day datum at x, so where I am now, or at the current, like at the current time of the day, minus where I was before. Okay, same thing for y. And why is this unresolved reference? Can I have some suggestions? No. Okay. Let's check. I think it is the math package. Yes, it is. I mean, I'm gonna. Okay. Import math dot. Guess what? Yeah. Okay, it's there. So it's this project should be Python 3, but we are thinks bpython is supposed to be based in my system Python. Maybe I will get some wrong package at some point, but it shouldn't happen. So that's my distance. So okay, online whiteboard. Yes, that's what I want. OAP. Yeah, this is cool. So just to be sure for people which like for which it has been a bit tough to get. So I'm here. This is my my last day datum with x1 and y1. That's the coordinates of my position. And then it happens that the next point is telling me that I'm here. And here the coordinates are x2 here and y2. Okay, and the delta x is that's the delta y. So if the y-axis is here, if this is the y1 level and y2 level, that is what I've called delta y. And not very strangely enough, that is what is delta x. So like it's basic Euclidean distance again. So I'm not gonna explain more than this. Just to, if for some people like the variable names are not clear, that's how it is. So now I just like append this distance. What I need to not forget here is to update my last day datum, for this way the next elements will be perceived, like will be compared to the one I just checked. So here I should have a distance array, and I'm gonna print it just to look at how it looks. And it should have, if I have like 100 elements in my day data, it should have like 99 elements. So let's go. So here, what do I see? I see that I may have a problem because it's basically telling me that most of the like movements, I'm absolutely making no move whatsoever, and then suddenly I'm making moves. And if I rerun again, okay, this one is like only zeros. This one has 2 moves. So what I think here is that it's likely that I have a bug and I only select the intermediate points, like the points I'm supposed to visit. So like the couple points of interest per day that I'm supposed to visit. But the translation between them, like the specific move, is not actually implemented. So how can I detect here that there is a problem? Well, one of the things here could be to characterize, so like, that's a good thing, we have a bug here. Now we want to know how we can characterize it, or we can characterize it. So I'm gonna install a package named NumPy, and I think I'm gonna basically use it to compute the standard deviation of this sample. And while it's installing, I'm gonna explain. Here I have actually, if I am making, so can I move this? Can I? No, I don't want to select. Yeah, I want to move. Okay, this is broken. I'm gonna just do this, and when you need to solve a problem, you take a browser that works. And can I move here? Well, I don't know, because I don't have nothing drawn. So oh yeah, I don't know. That's not the point. Okay, so here my distance thing is like, if I group it in buckets, so this is my number of elements, so it's a count. And this is my distance, d. And basically what I have is that at 0, I have a lot of elements. And then I have a few elements here at very, very high values, which are basically like, because the system is, should be, if I'm visiting point 1, point 2, point 3, the system should say, okay, the user starts here, then he slowly moves here, then the user goes there, and so on and so forth. But the thing is that it's not working like that. The thing is that I think right now it is just jumping from one position to another. So like the user is here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, and then suddenly it's there. That's why we have these huge moves. And this generates a huge standard deviation, because the average is about here, okay? But we have a huge average change to this. So we are gonna now import numpy, and we are gonna print numpy dot, let's check what is inside the numpy package. Numpy dot, it's not there, okay. I'm gonna just Google it. So numpy standard deviation. No, standard deviation. Python, it's kind of obvious. Okay, numpy.std. Okay, fine. Okay, and now let's try again. Okay, that's our standard deviation. So we are going to say that it's pretty high. And I don't know what's the real standard deviation I would like to find here, but basically, like, since I have not done anything fancy to have different speeds and things like that, I should have a standard deviation which is like way smaller than that, maybe 0. Like if every distance traveled is always, for example, like 1, the average is 1, and the standard deviation is 0. Every move is always made in the same at the same speed. So here, I'm just gonna say that I want to assert that my standard deviation is less than 0.5. I'm gonna still print the distances just for everybody to know. Then I can also how to count unique values. No, not really unique values. How to count 0 in list Python. Maybe someone has a cool one-liner, or maybe it's just gonna be blah 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 blah. Okay, we are just gonna make a small program. So count of no, we can do this. Filter array Python. It's not yeah, obviously it's trivial. So non-zero values is equal to, so I'm just basically, it's not exactly optimal in terms of data access, but we are going to do it like this. So we are going to put D for D in data. No, we don't want to do this. Non-zero distances. So for D and distances, I'm going to keep it only if D is above 0. And then I'm going to assert that I don't have mostly 0 stuff. So I'm going to measure the proportion of non-zero distance divided by the, let's say again, I don't want to test the specific implementation to the right, but I want to write like general tests which will also support the functional evolution of our code. So here, if I'm making this ratio should be with the current implementation, with what we want to do, it should be 1. I shouldn't have any 0 distance, but I'm gonna say that I want this ratio to be, can I cast it to double or float, just to ensure that it's not rounded to 1 by default? Okay, and I'm gonna say that at least 95% of the values should be non-zero. And okay, let's try that. Those tests should fail. So here, for example, I have 0 non-zero values. Here I have 2. Okay, so here I'm sure that for some elements, like here, I have 2 non-zero values. This seems to work. Okay, so we have something here that is actually showing that we have a problem, and we have a unit test which is proving that we have a problem. This is good, because once we are done finishing this program and fixing the bug, we know that we have a test which is kind of guaranteeing that if the bug appears again, because it already appeared then, we are sure that there is a flag that we are going to see that is going to tell us, hey, there is a problem here. So now we need to understand the problem, which is the first thing. So I'm going to print my day data just to check that most values are actually the same. Command line of, how can I do this? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take a bunch of things here. Let's say I'm going to take until some closing stuff here. Okay. So, sorry. Here I see that x is 7966, and here, sorry, y is 7966, x is 2770, and here I see the same value, so it's not a problem of my test, I actually see this. And here, what I would like to check is that I actually have these things are actually the coordinates of one point of interest. Again, I could tweak the code directly, but I prefer to understand the problem and to be sure to qualify it. And I think it's a good thing to have a good debugging culture where, like, I'm investing in, like, I'm writing logs that help me, for example, to debug something if it's in production. So now what I would need to do, I would like to see every point of interest coordinates. So then I'm treating, like, this is my key points of interest. And here I'm going to display also my secondary point of interest. So, and my target will be to check if the coordinates that I see in my day data, where I should expect the travel of the person, but I'm only seeing a single point, I expect these things to be present. So I'm printing my location generator dot key points of interest dot secondary points of interest. And now we are going to check this. Okay, this is very, very, very ugly. Is there, like, I know there are some pretty print Python pip print. Okay. So pip install, pip print. So I've installed a handful of packages, so I'm just gonna do the pip freeze again to update the requirements.txt file. And here I'm gonna import pprint, no, from pprint, import pprint. Cool. I'm just gonna hope that it's gonna look good. Nothing is sure here. We are just I don't want colors, but I would like to be able to make more. Yeah, okay, so at least I have line coherence. So here, for example, one of my repeating value is 9441. And what I can tell here is that it is not here. And actually, this is the only value I have here. Is it? So x94. There is no x94 here. Okay, let's try again. I'm trying again because we may have some point of interest that are returned which are from the other list, and so I'm still checking, and I will check 2 other times if we are not finding anything. So here x says like 45 to 47. There is no such thing. Here it says it goes from POY 35 to POY 87. POY 35 is not here. And here I'm going from home to POY 17. No, because I don't have home coordinates. I need to display also the home coordinates. I'm really sad about the burnt cake. It smells. I can feel this cake burning. It's burning my sense of multitasking. Okay. Okay, so here I see that actually I am not moving from home. I am not moving from my starting point. And here I've made actually I think 0 moves. Okay, doing it again, and here I've made 3 moves. And now I'm moving from point 1, which is at coordinate 51. So I'm actually always staying at my starting point and never reaching my endpoint. Perhaps until, oopsie. So yeah, that's a bit stupid because I'm going from point 91 to 1, 98 to 1. I don't know why. Maybe I'm visiting the same point twice. That's a strange generation. I could also check this. Okay. And here I was willing to check what's happening. Okay, so here I'm expecting the coordinates are changing because like suddenly I'm starting from another point. And here I assume that point of interest 85 is actually at coordinate x equals 65 and y equals 1. Yeah, that's correct. So that's not the best news of my life, but that's nice. Just I'm checking if I have some important or relevant messages, but I don't. That's a cool thing of being a Sunday during a lockdown period. There is no emergency happening anywhere in the world for me. I guess in hospital the story is different. So now it's we have understood the problem, and the problem is likely happening here. So here I think that the problem is that what is delta? So I'm gonna bet here that delta is always rounded to be 0. Are you willing to bet with me? I think it is. I'm gonna just comment this whole block to try to like actually see the first output I did right here, but okay. And yeah, always to 0. And why? Because well, there are semicolon here. This is not PHP, France. This is not PHP. Why? Because those are integers, and I need to have at least one float to keep it to some floating value. And yeah, we have it. So now it's not 0, but it's very, very close to 0. Why is it so small? Why is it so small? Because maybe current timestamp and end timestamp are strange. So 1 here. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So this variable is supposed to capture like what's the intermediate location between A if I'm leaving at 10 a.m. and B if I want to arrive at 11 a.m. Okay, and delta is measuring like the difference here in terms of timestamp. Am I making sense here? I'm not sure. Because progression is where I want to be, is the variable that I want. Okay, I'm gonna just redo this piece here. So my delta, I think, doesn't need to be divided. It's like the last timestamp and minus the first timestamp. And then my progression is where I am on this. So I would say that the formula for my progression is where am I right now in terms of timestamp compared to where it will be. So what I want is that when my current timestamp is my end timestamp, I want my progression to be 1. So I'm measuring the difference between my end timestamp minus my current timestamp. So that's how far I am to reach the thing. And I'm dividing it by, this must be divided by a proportion, which is actually here my delta. Because this is the maximum difference that there can be between them. So this is I need this to be casted to float because I don't want this proportion here to be always flowed to some closed integer, because otherwise it's gonna ruin everything. And now progression should be actually evolving within the right context. So let's try this again. Strangely enough, it seems to always be of some fixed values. That is very, very strange. And those value doesn't seem to be between 0 and 1. That is also strange. Is it actually what I'm printing? Yeah, okay. Okay. So when in doubt, make some schematic. Okay, that's the thing I've been looking. I've been blaming Firefox, but actually what I was looking is this. So let's make a small schema. Sorry. So that's my timeline. That's here. This is start. Here, this is end. E. Here, this is C. That stands for current. Okay. So I want some value P to change from 0 when C is over S to 1 when C is over E. So I would say that this is on the over line, right? There is no two-dimensional thing. Those are not vectors. So E minus S is the total of the move to make. And this is what we called delta. Okay? And here, if I create another variable, which is C, divided by this D, which is E minus S, I'm sure that there are some people which are thinking like, why doesn't he see it? I'm sure the problem is stupid. So here, if C is equal to S, that's not what I want to do, obviously. I want something that measures the distance from between C and the end. So let's do E minus C, which nullifies how much travel remains to be done. And E minus C here, if C is over E, this is 0. And so if I do this quantity, like 1 minus this quantity, I have something that might be good. And if C is over S, then those two quantities are the same, and I am at 1. Now, if C is in the middle over here, and let's think that like the difference between like D is equal to 100, that we will make it simpler. So S is 0, E is 100, and C is 50. Here I will have like 100 minus 0, which is 100, and E, so 100 minus 50, this is 50, so I would be at 50%. And if, again, I think that the quantity I'm interested in is 1 minus this. Now let's say that C is at 25. So this here is still 100, and this is 100 minus 25, which gives 75 over 100. So this is 0.75, and it gives the right thing. So my formula is correct. So my implementation sucks, I guess. So delta is E minus S. That's what I have. So this thing here is also equal to 1 minus E minus C over D. So, and minus start. This is my delta. Okay. And here I have E minus C divided by delta again, and then I subtract from 1. I don't understand this. How can this value be like, first of all, constant over time? And if anything, how can it be, okay, maybe I'm injecting the wrong values. Like end timestamp is maybe current timestamp, or things are mixed up. So let's check it. So here, important thing, I'm going to print all those values, but I'm printing them from end to current to start. So the highest value should be this one, then this one, then this one. So I should see like 3 decreasing values. And this is a nightmare because these numbers are too big. So this is 8543 and this is 8549. So this value is bigger. That's a problem. And this is 8543 again. So for some reason, the current timestamp ends up being bigger than the intermediate step. So it's not between start, the starting timestamp. So it's not, this implementation is correct. I mean, at least I think it is right now. And I need to check what's wrong in the calling functions. Sorry. So here I'm calling a value called intermediate timestamp, current timestamp, which I think is right now. What I would like to call actually is intermediate timestamp here. Now let's try again. So all of our tests have passed, which might be a good thing or a bad thing because we don't know. So the first thing we want to do here is to print the progression to check if it's some consistent values. This thing should be between 0 and 1. And it should be actually growing. And it is. Okay? So why? Because we are generating like from point A to point B to point C. And so we say from point A to point B, we cut the space, and then we say, okay, at the first moment is here, as the next moment is here, etc., etc., etc. So that's a great thing. We have something that looks like what we want. Sorry. So that was first decent debugging. Now I want to look at my day data just to check if they look rotten or they are not rotten. So I'm going to p-print them. I'm going to p-print the day data, which is already something that's interesting. So I see here that like it looks like I have some kind of consistent moves towards some direction. Maybe not. Yeah, okay, yeah, X is decreasing over time and Y is increasing. So that makes sense. And I'm gonna print again my point of interests. Oh yeah, it's right above actually. So I can do it here. Just I want to control that when I go to the last point, I'm actually reaching the last point. So, I think that's one problem. So here I'm going from home to point of interest number 6. Fine. Point of interest number 6 is here. And do I reach the good value? I get very, very close, but I don't reach it. Why? Because like my generation of point of interest here in the range, where is it? Here, it's not good. Let me explain. Can I do it here? If I type range here, do I see what's the output? Yeah, it's lovely. So for example, if I want to go to 1, from 1 to 100 by step of 10, actually from 0, it will be more readable and understandable. Okay, it's missing the last step. I mean, that's how range is implemented. There is no bug, that's how it works. So actually what I want to do, if I want to have my last value included, is to add the step that I want, and this way it works. So here, I just need to do the same thing here and add my timestamp precision to my end timestamp here. And my line is too long, I know it. Wait a second, be quiet. I'm gonna just test it again. And here, I want to show things on my screen using a pen, but it's not very visible from the outside. So I hope that those coordinates, like 5204, are the coordinates of point of interest number 23, which it's not. Nice try, genius. Einstein. Why? Why is it? Timestamp precision is 30. The move timestamp is when I stop moving. My time to switch location that's very, very strange. I'm gonna make an assumption here. Let's say, for example, that I want steps of 15 and 100 is not a multiple of 15. Then this does work. Is it going too far? That could be one question. Is it going too far? No. Yes, it's passing the point where it should be. So I think that actually, for some reason, the time stamp precision here is not a multiple of the time to switch location. And I need it to be. It's very easy to do it. So, well, round number with precision, Python. So yeah, so actually I have some rounding things, but for, I don't want to a precise number of decimals. Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna divide by the timestamp precision. Okay, and then I'm gonna multiply it by the timestamp precision. And I'm gonna cast this to be an integer, whatever happens. Shit. Sorry, that's oh, that's rude. Okay. Do I spend always that amount of time formatting code? Yes, I do. Okay, Python doesn't like over-indented for visual indent. Yes, okay, so I'm just gonna do this. And this is also over-indented. Yeah, but I would like it more. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna accept it. So now let's try if it works. So POY 22 should be at 6.5789. 22 is here, 6.5789. We have it working. It's alive, as Frankenstein said. Huh. Ha ha ha. So actually I said something stupid, that we should have a flat, like a 0 standard deviation, because here what is constant, it's not even constant, it's the time to switch from one location to another, and then we divide this plot. We don't have a notion of speed of our user in this location generation thing. Okay. So now I want to print the distances just to see like if everything looks fine. Distances. And I want also, whoa, I'm going to print it at the end because the variables are not defined. I also want to print the standard deviation, which I can print without preprint. Okay. So here I see that the distances are here, but like this, yeah, the distances are here. Sometimes the speed drops to 0, which might be like some repetitive element at some point. We don't care much. That's fine. I see here that the values sometimes are slightly different. So this is just floating number, normal arithmetic error, which is like basically sometimes you floating numbers in computers are not an exact science. They're actually an approximate science, and this is approximation errors. So we are very fine with it. And here we see that this limit that we set of 0.5 of standard deviation, we actually hit below. So I think that right now we have something correct. Okay. So can we make another test here? Does it make sense to make another test? That's also something that sometimes you want to wonder. And here my point is it probably doesn't, right? Doesn't make sense to add some other things. Oh, and I didn't clean up this thing. Can I? Okay. How can I call this? Timestamp range, and we good. Can I switch this to another line? Man, bummer. Can I add all arguments on a single line? No, I can't. Frustrating. We'll survive this, but I think this is more readable. Okay. Okay. And timestamp here is y. Under indented. Okay. Well, it's because I have the parentheses, I guess. Under indented. Oh, so you really want it at the same level of the range function. Okay, I'm going to do this and this. Yeah, good boy. So maybe that's more consistent. Okay, so and this? What about this? Yeah, it's better. Can you reach perfection with indentation? Yes, I think so. I like to think so. So here, same thing. Can we do this? Yeah, okay. I'm not going to put every argument on a single line because it's like there is no computation. It's more straightforward. So if it was a professional project, there's a comment. I would split this function. It's way too big. So I would find a way to make it smaller, like maybe up to 30 lines of code. But this is way too much information. Can I try to do it now, actually? That would be nice as well. So the thing that I like here is that I've made my first code. It works. I have unit tests to prove that it works. Now I can refactor it. The first thing that I should do though is to try to write a first comment, first commit. So get status. Okay, I'm gonna add all the new things. So I have this small helper that I wrote myself called get new, which is listing every single new file that are here with like starting with a double question mark, and then I'm adding everything, and whoa, okay. Get commit dash a dash m session number 2 unit tests, add unit tests, and fix discovered bugs, and we push it. Yeehaw. Okay, so how can I make this function smarter? That could be smart to do it. So I'm gonna split the screen. Can I split? No, I can't. Okay, fine. Split horizontally, and I'm gonna open like the same file twice. This way I have my whole function here. So this first thing is looking at the first point of interest, which is the home. Then it's where do I get point of interest to visit? Okay. So for every point of interest here, this specific function is generating like the path, the data to this point of interest. So I could just extract this to make an independent function. So that would remove about 20 lines of code, something like this, and it would make a decent function. Yeah. Okay, fine. So let's create this function, and we are going to call it get move data. So this move data is about I'm looking at what are the state variables I'm using. So elapsed time here is an important variable. So so I need my current point of interest, my next point of interest, which is the one declared here. The timestamp precision will move in this function. I need my elapsed time. Okay, and I have my mean time to wait at location. That also can be moved. I don't know where it is. Where is it? Mean time to wait at location. Where is this? Where is this? Okay. This is also a variable that I need to have. Okay, that's going to be a function with a lot of we could also store this as state variables inside the location generators. Do we need this actually? No, we don't need this. We can just like pass the move timestamp and the time to switch location. No, the time to switch location we cannot code it. Can we? I think we can. Yeah, okay, it's randomly generated at some point because like maybe some people are slower than others. For example, this thing here, we can have it in some local variable for sure. There is no like that's fine. We can start here. That's okay. We're just gonna use it from here. Instead of being new every day, which doesn't make sense, it's gonna be like specific to a user. That's perfect. That's fine. So just to still have something that works, I'm gonna just like make this mapping here. So I need my move timestamp. My timestamp precision is hard-coded, so this can go inside. And my range here can be generated inside. Okay, well, let's try to just like go for it and just make a nice copy pasta. Okay. My next point of interest is a provided variable. My move timestamp is a provided variable. My timestamp precision here is hard-coded. Here I'm using self.time to switch location. That is perfect. Nah, I hate this. I need to indent again. This is over-indented. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna survive this. I hope. I'm not even sure. Oh yeah. So basically it's telling me that I can probably do this and this and this. That's fine. I'm good with it. And then day data that happened. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna I'm gonna just like create an empty array and push it inside. Move data equals empty array, and instead of pushing this, I'm gonna push here, and then I'm gonna return this. Good. So here, I just need now to call this function. Yeah, whoa. Don't be too fast. Okay. Oh no. Yes. We are gonna cheat. We are gonna cheat to get the end timestamp. It's gonna be elegant. It's gonna be fun. Stretch time. Okay, so this requires the current point of interest, the next point of interest, the move timestamp. All those things are provided and computed. We can remove the precision, we said. For some reason, I have a problem here. Why? Float doesn't have expected attribute get item. What's this? Is current timestamp defined anywhere? Yes. We said that it's not current timestamp that we need to provide. Is it? No, it's the move timestamp. It's the move timestamp. Okay, yeah, okay. It's a current point of interest. Not this. Okay, fine. So here I have my move data, which are provided and which still don't fit on one line. That's okay. Super long variable names, they have consequences. The question here is, why am I using pop here? Am I using the length of this any point of time? Why am I using the index? There is no use of the index. So I can just iterate in for next point of interest in all of my point of interest, and that's fine. I'll be good. We are going to be very good with this. Yeah, okay. We're going to be very, very good. That is great. That's great. Okay. So I don't need this. Do I? I don't know. Strange. So my move data here, what I need to do is to append it to my day data. So for every element in my move data, so I'm gonna append the for the in move data. Okay, it's just like I'm just using this comprehension in Python. Can I do this without brackets? No, I can't. So it's kind of creating some kind of array, I guess, that's not going to be used. So I don't know if there is any optimization that doesn't actually consume memory for an intermediate array. But otherwise, I mean, it's fine. It's just a toy project. Okay. So here we have our day data that are appended, and then we need to have the end timestamp. And actually, the end timestamp is, here is the cool trick. So the end timestamp here is my last item in my move data. So that you can access like this, dot brackets time stamp. And we're good. So this function now is about 30 lines of code, and that's a lot, but we'll say that's okay. Now we don't forget to launch our tests again. Everything is passing. That's great. Now there is one thing that I would like to add, is that I want people to go home at the end of their day. So here, instead of coding it right now, I'm just gonna create this. Starts and ends at home. So my day data here are having a timestamp. Why am I thinking about timestamp? I don't know. I'm going to say distance. Distance is to home. Here I'm creating an array, and I'm creating points to consider, and this is going to be my first item, which is where my day is starting, and minus, well, not minus, sorry, in an array along with my last item, which is where my day is ending. Do things, they need to be home. So I'm going for, I'm going to call this like day data to consider. That's going to be more clear. And I'm just going to add small comments, first and last days. For day, I'm going to basically like maybe copy paste this. That's going to be fine. For day data for day datum in day data to consider, I don't have this problem of having a previous point because I am always making the comparison with home. It's not self, it's day. It's not day data. It's in the location generator. It's underscore home. Okay, and then I can compute a distance, and then I can append the distances in distances to home. And then I'm gonna just print this. I expect this to be only zeros and to have two items. So okay, yeah. The last one is not zero because it's not right now ending on, and we are gonna fix this problem. So I'm gonna write non-zero distances. I'm gonna really like, and I don't mind really copy pasting and lack of abstraction in unit tests because I want them to be simple to read. They are specifications. They are not here to have a high level of abstraction. They are here to be very, very, very easy to read and extend. They are scripts. They are recipes. Like, I do this and I expect to check this, 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 this. It's more like audit. It's not like what you want to do when you write like normal code. So I expect non-zero distances to be like to have lengths of 0. And they should fail. Good, that's a good thing. And now the only thing that we need to do is to say, when I know where I want to go, which is like when I get my list of points of interest to visit over one day, I'm just going to have another point of interest. Yeah, does it work? Yeah, it works. Dot append, and this point of interest, what here will be home. And that's it. People are going home after their trip during their days. Doesn't work. So okay, so it's not 0, but it's very, very close to 0. This is not 0, but it's very, very close to 0. Again, I'm just gonna print also the datum, and what's funny is that the problem is only appearing, if I'm correct. I think I am. Okay, so here I have it slightly above standard deviation, which I'm going to explain after. No, I can't explain after because this case is hard to reproduce. So here, since we are generating random numbers, and we have seen that sometimes like there is no guarantee that the speed of the user is constant. So sometimes we may have cases where, for example, we selection points to visit that are very, very nearby, and then other points which are very, very far away, which means that some trips may be super, super slow, and some trips may be super, super fast, which means that this test here sometimes can fail. If you want to read about this, you just go to my personal blog here. Because like sometimes you want to write tests that are actually reliable and never fail for because you have some random call in this. And the way to do this is to tweak your number generators to debug to always generate the same number. So in all of your tests, the random number generators would always behave the same. And here you have a whole description about how to work with this, how to like fix this. So this is Ruby, but you can adapt it to Python or anything. The logic is exactly the same. So, yeah, so that was one of the problems we had. And we want to print the day datum because I want you to like see what actually happened. Is it printed somewhere? Yeah. So basically here we don't have luck because of the last digits are wrong. They are not exactly the same. And the reason for this is that it's again this floating number thing. So like the distance between point X to like the distance, the interpolation that is done here when we retrieve the move data and we get the intermediate locations here, even if sometimes it shouldn't do much, we are multiplying here a float with a progression, which is again a float, and this progression might not be 1, it might be like 0.999999 because at some point something happens. And that's how this problem occurs. So the way to solve it is just to do this, mass.apps. We don't have it, so it's in this, I guess in Python it's just apps. So absolute value of -12, yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay. And this should work. Cool. So we can write a new commit, which is not using my aliases because it's easier for you to reproduce at home if someone wants to do this. So now our generated, it's still session 2, our generated trips, like daily travel, call it like that, are now always ending home. And we can push this. Can we push this? Yes, we should. But that's fine. Trusting. I'm can I open? Yeah, I just want to check that the repository has been properly updated. Yeah. So, okay, I think we are going to be done for today because I think 2 hours is already a good good bits to digest. So, tuk. I'm just gonna update the README file. Oh, can I add a point here? No, it's stupid. I'm just going to do this. Project overview, project setup, and the first simulation code. Okay. Followed by the link. Second session, so this is unit test, debugging, and making, let's say, more realistic, because people go home at night. Well, not at night. I mean, we are assuming that they go home every day before midnight, so kind of we are building a world where everyone is Cinderella and everyone can have some very, very strange walking patterns where sometimes they are very, very fast because they go to a faraway place in the city, but sometimes they are very, very slow because they go next door and every trip is taking 30 minutes, but it's life. So yeah, so unit test, debugging, and making more realistic data generation. Yeah, daily travels. We use this vocabulary, so that's fine. Third session, I will update data, but will be about. We are gonna have the last unit test after that. Third session will be about generating fake, like, can we say serializing? It's not really serializing. It's like outputting fake data, and yeah, that's fine. Writing or fake data in JSON files. Yes. And loading them in another part of the project. We are going to do map visualization. That's going to be cool. I have absolutely no idea how we will do that, but we're going to try. So we're going to do map visualization. Yeah, it's going to be fine. That's going to be good for 2 hours, I guess. So the last test I want to add now is that I want to be sure that my difference between my first timestamp and my last timestamp are actually less than 24 hours. And I want to be sure that this is happening for every case. So how can I be sure that is for every case? Answer is I can't. But I can try to prove it wrong. So for, like, I would say 1,000 iteration, so I'm going to do this 1,000 times. Maybe I will need another location generator context for this, and fade, because I want to have fresh data every time. Shadow's name from outer scope. Yeah. So I'm going to create local and local. Then I'm generating day data. And what I want is that day 1 data timestamp is equal to day data 0 timestamp. I'm going to call it first and last. It's going to be more explicit. And timestamp difference equal last day data minus first day data timestamp. And I want to assert here that my timestamp difference is less than 24 hours times 60 minutes and 60 seconds. And basically this is actually 1 day. And here I'm not using the local location generator, so I'm not sure it's good. That's a lot of items to test. I want to at least be, I want to be sure. Maybe we are committing with slightly slower number, because yeah, I mean, because a few, like if one day we have a bug, we can reproduce this again, check this thing against randomness, debugging randomness article, and you should see pretty interesting things. So I want to run my unit test, and I hope that this works. Yes, it does work. I'm just gonna print briefly my timestamp difference, just because I'm just curious to see if it's constant. I don't remember if we, for example, if we start to simulate those moves around midnight or 8 in the morning. So I'm just curious. And to make it more readable, I'm going to divide everything by 60. Not by 60, by 60 times 60. So I can have a result in hour. So I can see like how things are working. Oh, that's very strange. Why is it? So my last day timestamp here should always be superior to this. So I see that it's not. So here I want to assert that my timestamp difference is bigger than 0. And here I think I'm going to get some errors. Yes, I'm getting errors. I have a problem. Though it's often this number. What is this number? So 60 times 60, 24 times 60 times 60. Okay. And if I divide, I think this might be like 16 hours. Yeah, it's a bit more. So why? Because I said that the move are starting at some time. I remember that we said that the move should start around 6 p.m., around 6 a.m. So here there is something that we should consider first. Okay. So I think we need to print some day data, and it's easier to do it in this other test here because we only have one element. What's happening here? Okay, maybe I can comment this just to Yeah, but I don't want to print this because otherwise I don't see anything. Why is nothing displayed here? Dash V. Okay. This is passed. So why am I not seeing what's in the standard output? Oh, because it's only if the test fails. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just assert false. Let's check. No, it's not. Damn. What's happening here? Okay. There is something I know called PyTest cache. I'm removing it just to be sure that there is no stupid thing around this. And obviously it's not this. This is not a problem. So actually I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so suddenly it's actually doing what I asked, but I still don't see my out. Oh yeah, it's one of the specific case where I had a lot of zero distances. I don't know why. Damn, what's happening? Okay. So wait. I'm just gonna set a timer, and if I don't solve this problem, let's say under 8 minutes, we are just gonna interrupt it here. We had tried something with PyTest, and yeah, show all. Let's try this. Doesn't work. Is it me or something is broken on this, in this world? So removing the cache was a bit dark magic. Like I was trying something out of the blue, and this is also dark magic. Why am I running 10 times the same command expecting different result? This is not supposed to be how this works. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I redeclared the function with the same name. Yeah, okay, that's why. So get the data stays within 1 day. Good. And now I have something in my output. Yeah, genius. That's brilliant. Okay. So now my strange assumption here is that the timestamp here are not increasing. They are decreasing for some reason, and I don't know why. So here I see that they are actually increasing. So that makes sense. What if I print the 0 value, the last value, and I'm gonna do something else, which is printing an intermediate value because I don't know, I don't trust this. So I'm like, there should be increasing timestamps. And actually it's not very readable, so I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna access every timestamp, and it's gonna be actually timestamp minus, and I'm gonna replace this with, I don't know, just zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is just meaning to make things more readable. Sorry for the percussion thing. So you see this fix here? It is stupid. I'm gonna fix this first. So yeah, you want to compare the absolute value, but here you want to set an epsilon. So here it's not 0. Okay, it's if it's superior to epsilon. So epsilon is like the mathematical name you give to very small values. So I'm gonna set it to 0. This, something like that. This way, like this, it works. Otherwise, it was just useless. Yeah. And yeah, okay, this works. So, strangely enough, it seems that after the first point, it's good, because like this value is bigger than this one. Like this is actually like, so the last value is more in the future or less in the past than the one before, except for the first one. So I'm gonna test with like number 2, and maybe I think I will need to investigate a bit how the first data point is generated. That could explain the problem. Okay, so number 1 is already much better. And here is the range I want. Okay, so I need to investigate how the first timestamp is set in my thing. So get my day data. Where is my day data? Initialize. Okay, here. And it says current timestamp. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this at the current timestamp. I want it at the first timestamp we are going to process. And where is this elapsed time? So here we start at 6 a.m. So that's fine. We are just going to do this. We take this. We go here. So if we start at 6 a.m., it means that during the day we have 24 hours, right? Minus 6. And we checked last time that the approximate duration of a day, of the difference between the two, was 17 hours. That's strange. We are still going to check this after. And here I say that I want this to start at the first moment when there will be a move. Current point of interest. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's when my day is starting. So basically, I don't want to set a first data point at yeah, and the previous value was current timestamp, which is set to be today. So when I usually want to generate data for the day before, so I was like, that's why it was so wrong. So it didn't make any sense. What do I want to say here? Yeah, so I don't want to force the data to start precisely at midnight, because if at some point when I'm generating my path, I have some stuff that are ending up around like 1 or 2 a.m. That could be realistic. And that could also mean that I don't want to fix this, to generate 1 day of data that may actually end up in the next day around 2 or 3 a.m. and make the day after that starting at midnight and then generating all the data. It would like fuzz everything. That's not what I want. Okay, so now the tests should be okay, at least when I'm printing. Yeah, okay. So my 8 minutes has passed, but I fixed the bug. So yeah, this is negative because I did subtract timestamp from today. Just to be sure, I'm just gonna like subtract more. So for example, set this to 4. Should it work? I don't know. Yeah, it should work. It should give big numbers, I think. Almost. So I'm gonna set it to 3. That's a very okay. And okay, so it's strictly growing. This is smaller than this, which is smaller than this, which is smaller than this, which is smaller than this. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's great. So I am removing the printing of this output data. Whoops, sorry, just some quick text. Okay. And now I want to print my timestamp difference. Well, first I want to check if this test is passing. No, it is not. Why is it? Okay, my proportion is not right. That's fine. We are in some special case. We are again in some special case. Okay, so sometimes all those tests are passing. Again, it's not perfect. Again, check my previous article. You Google the dark side, Franz Mekoli, and you look at the article called debugging randomness. Okay, so now I would just like to give a look to this timestamp difference in terms of hours, just to be sure, and let's not be stupid and actually do the rounding, the right division, and I want to look like how many hours. So usually it's lasting between 17 and 18. I'm gonna just be sure that it's never, well, it could be above 18 without being a problem. It is actually never. So this is good. So it means that my day, I fixed my day that should start around 6 a.m. and then I'm generating events for 18 hours, and so it's 6 plus 18, 24. So I never had generating events after midnight. That is perfect. And yes, so we are good. Git fix a bug. So that's session 2. Session 2, fix a bug that was generating the first data point of each day to be, each fake day to be the timestamp of the generation, current time. Yeah, that's it. Plus like add details to the README files. So, and we push this. Yeah, we're done. Thanks to the handful of people which are have been around. I hope it's interesting. Give me feedback. I will do this maybe another couple times. I will finish this project doing this, but I've always been curious to know if it's of an interest for people. So yeah, basically that's it. Yeah, we're done. I don't know how I interrupt everything, but basically stay home, stay safe, and I think I'm gonna do the next thing next week, probably again on Sunday. Bye.